Hey there, guys. How's it going? Welcome to Breakfast All Day. I'm Christy. That's Alonso. Next up for us is Guillermo del Toro's latest. It is called Nightmare Alley. Alonso will tell you about it.
So yes, this is a remake of the classic 40s film noir that starred Tyrone Power as a carny worker who learns how to. He basically picks up a phony mentalist act from a couple of other carnies that he then starts doing at very posh nightclubs, only to get involved with a therapist to the rich and famous who is even less scrupulous than he is, and the dangers that occur when you start believing in your own phony powers. The original movie is great. You should absolutely watch it. And this one doesn't really work for me anyway. It looks great because it's a Guillermo del Toro movie, so it is of course like art directed at the yin yang, and the carnival stuff is really cool looking, and Cate Blanchett's art deco psychiatrist office is really gorgeous. And I just read this morning, apparently they're going to do a release of this in black and white, which is a cool idea.
It is, but so much of it is about like the sumptuous color of it,
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know that I would want to sit through this movie again, but I would maybe want to sit through it again in black and white. Anyway, yeah, I don't think that this is quite effective, and frankly, given that this is an R-rated movie with R-rated sexuality and gore and whatnot, I still think the 40s version is actually more intense. Like that's a movie that hits really hard, even made under the production code. And the thread going through both of them, and both films are by the way based on a novel. There's the notion that the lowest you can go in the carnival world is to become the geek, the guy who basically will bite the heads off live chickens in the sideshow just for a little bit of booze and a place to sleep it off. And it's a gritty world, and I think Del Toro is drawn to the seediness of it all. In my review in the wrap, I said that like you get the sense that he misses the sort of notoriety of carnivals the way that like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez miss the seediness of Grindhouse, that like the kind of movies that they want to make used to get you into trouble, and now they win you Oscars. and so I think they miss being that kind of outlaw renegade. And so that sense of the carny world definitely comes through. But I think Bradley Cooper's really miscast. Like he's supposed to be this real smooth con artist, but you can see the con artistry all the time, and so you wonder like how anybody falls for this. Like Simon Rex and Red Rocket, that is how you do a narcissist con artist who is like knows how to play people and get what he wants out of them. But I wasn't getting that from Bradley Cooper. So there's things that work here. I liked Toni Collette. I liked Willem Dafoe as the guy who runs the carnival. Again, always things to look at, but this kind of left me cold.
Also with Bradley Cooper, in the first half, people keep calling him like kid and son and young buck. Come over here, young buck. Let me teach you a thing or two. And he's like 45-year-old Bradley Cooper. Right. So in the first half, for sure, he's definitely miscast. Like somebody like younger and hungrier. He comes in and he's stoic and he's a man. Like he's not somebody who
Timothée Chalamet, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like he's not somebody who like seems moldable.
Sure.
And then in the second half, it becomes a totally different movie in the second half. The first half for me really dragged and felt very repetitive. Of course, Del Toro doesn't mess around with these things when it comes to, as you say, production design. So they actually found like antique carnival rides. They actually like built an entire irrigation system beneath the ground so that everything was muddy all the time. So there's a big story in the LA Times today about him and Kim Morgan, who he co-wrote the script with, who he is now married to, longtime critic and historian and writer Kim Morgan, who's really knowledgeable about this genre. And I can see why the two of them were drawn to this material. But the first half really, really drags. Second half, once Cate Blanchett shows up, it becomes a totally different movie. It becomes very glossy and like beautiful, but darkly and dangerously so. Then it gets more interesting to me, even though you know how those gears are going to turn and you know how it's going to end up. Like there's so much style to it and so much like knowing kind of scenery chewing to it that it made it compelling for me much more so than the first half.
I guess. I mean, again, and to sort of to bring up Red Rocket in this, like, if you're going to give me a movie where you are clearly showing me a character who is like riding a greased pole to hell, you know, then you need to make it interesting along the way, because I know where we're going with this, especially because this is a remake. But even if not, you know that like that like the Bradley Cooper character is so terrible and does such awful stuff that he is doomed. You need to make the journey to the predestined destination more interesting. And I was never particularly compelled in it. I just was sort of like waiting for it to get to where it was all going to fall apart. And I'll tell you, I think Cate Blanchett's kind of bad in this.
Really?
Like, I think she's doing a lot of film noir posturing. Like she watched a lot of Audrey Totter movies basically, and like she's getting the face right and the tones right, but I never believed her as an actual human being. Kind of the same problem I had with her in Don't Look Up, you know, which is like it was like I get what you're going for here, and I see all the externals of what you're going for, but there's not a person in there.
I like her better here than I did in Don't Look Up, for sure.
Well, if these are the choices, sure,
right.
But
she gets more to play here, but I feel like she knows what her role is here in terms of being like the femme fatale. I feel like she knows that, and she plays it to the hilt. And like the way she's lighted, Dan Lawson is the DP. He also shot The Shape of Water. It's a lot of the same folks who have worked with Del Toro for a long time. The costume designer, Luis Sequeira, and the clothes are fantastic. So I feel like she knows how to like wear that dress and like step into that light. And that is almost enough at times. Like the wallowing in the style is almost enough, but it left me so cold. I did not care about what happened to any of these people.
Right.
Maybe at the very, very end, like the final shot is the beginning of something, like the beginning of something interesting, and it's too late by then.
Yeah, look, I would say in a way that Cate Blanchett's performance is kind of a metaphor for the whole movie, which is like, you know, you get the sense that Del Toro and Kim Morgan like love the original, have seen it a million times, can like parse it and dissect it and do all this stuff. And then when they remake it, it just becomes this sort of series of like, oh, look at this shot. Oh, look at this costume. Look at these sets. And discreetly, yeah, they're all terrific. You can pick out things in this film that work, but overall there's not a sense of like we were driven to tell this story. We had a new angle on this story. We had a new take on it. We had a reason that it needed to be told again in 2021. No, it's like we love this old movie and we wanted to play dress up, you know. And it's like Cindy Sherman photography, you know. She can recreate a still and wear an outfit and have a facial expression, and you can read all this stuff into it and imagine what the movie would be and what it is that she's trying to capture about, you know, Hollywood that no longer exists. But then you see a movie like this and it's like, what was the thing that Ebert used to always like to say? They know the words but not the music, you know. And so none of this lands with the way the 47 movie does, because that movie has a real just sleazy drive to it that is missing here.
I've never seen the original.
Oh,
I went into this cold.
You're in for a treat. You know, some chilly evening, throw on a blanket and watch it. You'll dig it.
Well, what is your number then? I'm saying 6.8.
I said 5.5.
Okay.
I buy the coffee table book, but don't see the movie.
Okay. So Nightmare Alley, our number is a 6.2. I believe this is only in theaters.
For now, yes. For sure. All right. Well, listen, thanks everybody for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on social media at BeFastAllDay, and please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. A lot of cool exclusives. All of our reviews running there with no commercial interruption. Also, our TV recaps, our monthly off the menu selection, all kinds of cool stuff. But you got to be a subscriber to get one. So to see it, so become a subscriber today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.